Cavan Biggio has had a 2023 season of extremes, and what you just saw were some of the level-headed takes from the most reputable news source in the world, the Reddit comments section. Those comments, among many others, came between May 1st and 21st of this season, a time where Biggio was around his lowest point of production at the plate. Since that time, he's actually been one of the Jays' best hitters, and has provided some much-needed offense to a team fighting to make the playoffs. Now, I'm not here to tell you that Biggio is going to be some absolute stud for the Blue Jays for years to come, but I would like to acknowledge his great turnaround this season because he took a lot of heat early on. Before we get into this season though, let's take a quick look at how his short MLB career has gone so far. Biggio came into the league in 2019, the same year that Bo Bichette and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. made their debuts. These three were usually lumped together in conversation at the time, as they were considered to be the future of the Toronto Blue Jays, and all three of them are sons of former major leaguers. Although they were often mentioned together, Biggio is actually 3 years older than Bo and 4 years older than Vladdy. In that first season, Biggio played 100 games and actually had better batting stats than Guerrero, who played in 123. That, on top of his ability to play multiple defensive positions and be an above-average base runner, earned him 5th place in Rookie of the Year voting, one spot ahead of Vlad. This is an important note because a lot of people often forget his value outside of his batting stats. In 5 years in the majors, he's played at least one game at every defensive position other than catcher, and he's regularly put in to pinch run. When his batting has been less than stellar, he's still found a way to be valuable as a utility man. Since his hot start in 2019, he had another good shortened season in 2020, but his numbers have been down considerably these past few years. It's not overly surprising. As a player completes his first stretch in the majors, pitchers will adapt and take advantage of their weaknesses. A lot of fans were obviously left wondering if Biggio would do some adapting himself, and it wasn't looking promising for a while, which brings us to this current season. As I make this video, it's September 19th, and his Baseball Reference stat line looks like this. At first glance, it's nothing overly impressive. His OPS is below league average, he's batting .233, and he only has 5 stolen bases. What's impressive about these stats is that he's reached this point after an abysmal first month and a half of the year, a time where his place on the team was questioned by many fans and news outlets. Looking back to May 21st, which I would say was the lowest point of his season, his standard stats looked like this. Through 68 plate appearances, he had a 127, 191, 238 slash line, with 2 home runs and 4 RBIs. Looking a little closer, it doesn't get much better. He was striking out nearly 40% of the time with a walk rate just shy of 6%, leading to his terrible WRC plus of 17. Of course, 68 plate appearances is a very small sample size, which was pointed out by many fans at the time. And like many players before him, the argument that he needed to get more regular plate appearances to get going again was brought up. Naturally following that argument though was that if he wanted more regular plate appearances, he needed to start performing better. Through his terrible start at the plate, Biggio continued to find playing time though. His defensive versatility and above-average base running proved yet again to be useful to the Jays, as he helped fill in for early season injuries and provided much-needed rest days at several positions. Since that low point early in the season, Biggio has been one of the best hitters on the team and has continued to help at multiple positions defensively. Here's a look at his standard stats from May 22nd to September 19th. Through 216 plate appearances, he slashed .269, .375, .434, with 7 home runs and 30 RBIs. His strikeout rate and walk rate also improved significantly to 24 and 12.5% respectively. For players on the Jays with at least 200 plate appearances during that time, he ranks 2nd in WRC plus at 129, only behind Brandon Belt. So even though Biggio had a brutal start to the season and his place on this team was questioned by many, including myself, he's proven over the past few months that he's an extremely valuable member of the Jays squad. Even if his bat cools off a bit, his ability to slot in at so many different positions makes him a necessary piece to this team. He becomes especially important at this late point in the season as the Jays continue to push for the playoffs. The offense has struggled a bit and there's been a bad stretch of short-term injuries recently, both of which Biggio has helped with immensely. He may not be a perennial all-star or a future Hall of Famer, but he's been a valuable member of the Blue Jays, and I hope he has some long-term success with the squad over the next few years. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm Jack of All Baseball, and I'll see you next time.